Today we're going to be looking at functional dorsiflexion at your ankle. So with squatting, with running, we need to have about 40 degrees of bend right through your ankle and foot. To test for this, you're going to take your fist. We're going to do this for the sake of showing you today. We're not going to have the wall right in front of us, but you'll go up to a wall. You put your fist down on the wall with your toe right next to it, and then you should be able to drive your knee forward all the way until your knee can touch the wall without your heel raising up and without having a collapsed arch. If you do not make contact with your knee, or your heel pulls up first, or your arch collapses when you go to do this, we're going to show you a couple things in order for you to gain range of motion there and hopefully have faster times running and have less Achilles, plantar fasciitis, or knee pain with your training. So what you're going to need a kettlebell, a lacrosse ball, and a mobility band. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to set the ball down. And this is just a way for us to get some recovery through our plantar fascia and foot intrinsics. And we're just going to take and just roll your foot around. You can use a golf ball, a lacrosse ball, but you just want to spend some time there. You want to be here for at least a minute to 2 minutes, especially if you're having discomfort with training or after training.
And if you find like a spot that's really tender, make sure you spend more time in that spot, kind of strum over that spot to really get rid of that tight area.
And this is just going to bring blood flow into that tissue. When we train and when our muscles start to fatigue, they start to tense up and we get lacking blood flow. We end up having some cellular waste that'll accumulate, and this just helps our body flush that area. Good blood flow and nutrients and help us adapt to our training as well as heal. So after he's spent about 2 minutes here, he's going to go ahead and take a seat. And we're going to take this kettlebell and you're going to put your calf up onto the kettlebell. So for many of you, this is going to be more than enough. Just setting your leg up here. You're going to want to go the whole length of your calf. So you may go here, and you're just going to kind of go back and forth, looking for any spots in your soleus. And you can move the kettlebell a little bit back and do the same thing. And likely, this is going to be pretty intense. So he has some right on the outer edge of his soleus. He has some pretty good spots here. I'm sure that feels pretty miserable, and that's where you want to be. If you felt like this wasn't enough pressure, you can always drop the other leg on top to add a little bit. And then what I want you to do is I want you to just point and flex your foot. And that just gets the muscle to move underneath that kettlebell. And it works as a really nice self-massage for that soleus or for your posterior tibialis. Your posterior tibialis is right on the inner edge. And that muscle comes down. And its tendon actually attaches to every every bone in your foot except your navicular. It controls your ability to maintain an arch. So this is a huge muscle that we want to look for in order to maintain foot health and ankle mobility. After you've spent about at least 2 minutes running up and down the calf with this kettlebell massage, you're going to come over here. Go ahead and stand up. And if you feel, when you go into that position, if you feel jamming in the front of your ankle, that talocrural joint, what you're going to do is you're going to face away from where the band is anchored. You're going to come and step forward so that you get some pretty good stretch on that band. And come even more forward. Really load that baby up. There you go. And so this is going to just give a little bit of distraction to the joint. He's going to send his knee forward, and I want him to maintain an arch the whole time. He gets right there to the point where if he was going to go further, his knee would dive in and his arch would collapse. So we don't want him to go past that. He's going to come forward right there, and what he's aiming for is a little stretch through his thigh, or sorry, through his calf. If what he's feeling is just a really nice intense stretch through his calf, and he isn't getting any jamming here, what you can do is you can flip around the other way. So go ahead and turn around the other way. And now load that band up again. Okay. And if he gets back this far, now go ahead and go into that exact same stretch. As long as he's not getting any jamming in the front, this is going to help all of his sliding tissues throughout his Achilles, and this should help free up where that posterior tib dives around, where his flexor hallucis longus, which attaches to his big toe, also comes around. And he's just going to go in and out of this and just try and really free up that Achilles. Very good. After all of this has been done, and he's spent a couple minutes going through that mobilization, you're going to come out of it, and we're going to finish this up with a goblet squat. So he's going to take this kettlebell, and now we just want to work into that range. He's going to stay nice and upright and squat down. The knees will follow the angle of the foot so that he has good tracking through his patella, and then come up. And he's just going to go through and do about 10 of these. Maintaining an arch, maintaining good tracking through his hip and knee, and helping to use that additional range of motion that he just restored. So again, if you have lacking motion in your ankle, this is a great series to go through until you can pass that test and get your knee to touch the wall, which will allow you to run with much less discomfort in your knee, foot, or ankle, as well as speed up your times as you'll be able to run more efficiently.